today we are going to be talking about email basics. So my name is Talia, and then this is Cassie over here. So if you have questions from us along the way, don't hesitate to shout out and we can help you out here. So today we'll learn to name the tools and apps needed to use email. We'll do some skill building, such as performing basic email functions like logging in and out of your email, sending, receiving, and replying to emails, recognizing and dealing with spam, organizing, searching, and deleting emails. And then we'll go over some tips and tricks like how to keep your account safe and some other functions such as CC, BBC, and attachment.
This is just email today?
Yeah. So there are many things you can do with an email account. What is something that you want to do with your email account?
Reply to my friends.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
Check in with my friends.
It's a great resource to be able to get in touch with people no matter how far away they are.
Save a stamp.
Exactly. Save you some
That's
money.
what a lot of it is these days.
So when using email, you'll have to use a web browser. So some common web browsers are like Firefox or Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, or even Apple Safari. They all do the same job. They're just run by different corporations, but whichever one you're comfortable with, all of them you can use to access your email. And then an email is the way you digitally send mail through the internet. So like you said, saving a stamp. And there are many different emails you can use. Some of the common ones are like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, and then Apple Mail. So again, they all do basically the same function, but whichever one you feel comfortable with is the one you can use to set up an account. So what are the benefits of using email? You can send an email to one person or multiple people all at the same time. In most cases, the person will receive it instantly. People can access email accounts on any device with internet access, so including a computer, smartphone, or tablet. So you could access your email here in the library on one of our computers or on one of your personal computers. And messages can include pictures, text, documents, videos, and other computer files. So you can send basically anything through email. So this is the anatomy of an email address. So it's a lot similar to an address you'd put on a piece of mail. You've got your name or your username, the identifier of who you are and who the email needs to go to. And then you have your address here, so it knows where to go. So like with Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, any of those things. So that whole combined thing is your email address, and that's how they know where to send the email to. So when signing up for an email account, you'll have to open a web browser, type in gmail.com into the address bar, press enter, and then click create an account. Once you do that, it's going to pop up with this screen here. So you'll just fill out some basic information, your first and last name. It'll have you create a username and a password there. When creating a username, that has to be unique, so it has to be something that someone hasn't used before. Nowadays, that can be kind of difficult since there's millions of people using email, so maybe your name might not work, especially if you have a common name, so you might have to add some additional things in there, like numbers or other identifying factors. And then you also want to make sure it's appropriate to share, because if you email anyone with that email address, they're going to see it, so especially if you're wanting it to be a professional thing. I know.
Would it be, if you get like a message saying this is inappropriate if it's a bad word or?
I don't think so.
So you could say.
You could have,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I've seen a lot of interesting email addresses as both a teacher and a youth soccer coach.
And that's a lot of kids will make an email account like that,
That they
not
think
thinking
is
about
funny,
it.
yeah.
And then like you're either stuck with that username or you have to make a completely different email. So it's like you want to be smart about what you name that, because you are stuck with it if you want to keep using that account.
But sometimes like adding like a graduation year or something like that can get you a unique username. Like if you wanted to use your first initial and your last name, but that's already taken, then maybe you can put your graduation year in there and maybe that's available. So
Usually is the most difficult part. It's just
Yeah.
finding that unique
and a lot of
username.
times it will suggest something, like it'll suggest, how about something similar to what you said, but with these random numbers? Well, if those numbers don't mean anything to you and you're not going to remember them, don't use those. Use different numbers that are actually going to make sense to you.
And so then when creating a password, you don't want to share your password with anyone. That needs to be kept private. Anyone that has your password information can then, of course, access your account, and you don't want that. Passwords now are generally a minimum of 8 characters. They keep getting longer and longer because they want to make sure you're more secure. And you want to make sure it's not something easy to guess. You wouldn't want your password to be the word password. Anyone could guess that and it'd be easy to get into your account. So you'll want to add capital letters, numbers, symbols, anything that's just going to make your password a little bit harder to guess, something that'll make it easier to keep your account secure. And
Hold on.
Yeah.
The password for like symbols, is it anything on that? Like punctuation?
Most of
Usually.
the time, but sometimes it'll say like you can't use that one, or sometimes it'll say it must include a symbol and it'll show you the ones. It's usually the ones that when you hit shift and a number, it's usually those ones up top.
Okay.
Those are usually the ones that are included. Also, like exclamation points and question marks are generally included. So some things that are really easy is to switch A's to an @ symbol, because then that just gives it a different level, a more secure, or switching like an I with an exclamation point. So if you wanted to use something like a phrase, you could change out a couple letters for that @ symbol and an exclamation point, and then it makes it more secure instead of it just being straight up letters.
Yeah, and generally the longer your password is, the stronger it is. Of course, got to make sure it's something you can remember. But the longer it is, the more secure and harder it will be for people to guess. So your account is protected by a password of your choice. So you should be the only one that can access your email. It's like a key to your mailbox, provides that protection and privacy. If you're giving out your password or your key, you're giving people access to your mail, and you want to make sure you're keeping that safe, especially nowadays where your email is basically your way to log into any sort of accounts like Facebook or anything like that. You're giving people access to your email, they have access to everything. After you create your username and password, you'll need to enter your phone number. Nowadays, emails like to have that double factorization, so it wants to make sure that it's you when you log in. So like if you've logged in on one of our computers, it'll usually send you like a text message with a code. Just wants to make sure, so even if someone were to get a hold of your password, if you put that code in, it knows it's actually you trying to log in and not just anyone that maybe gets your password.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you log into your email on your home device, you can kind of set it like as a home device so that you don't have to do that extra step every time. But when you're on a public computer, you never want to say like, oh yeah, this is a home computer. Remember this password. You never want to do that if you're on one of our computers. If you're using one of ours, it probably will do that two-factor authentication because it doesn't recognize the device you're using. So if you're using a device you've used before and you think, well, I didn't have to do this last time. Well, if it's a device that it recognizes as a regular device you use, it's not going to ask for it, but then you try to log into one of our computers and then it's going to ask for that.
Just another step to keep your account secure. So again, verifying, it'll show that you're a real person and not a robot, and it'll send you a code. And then, yep, you'll have to have your phone with you. That's the important thing. If you don't have your phone with you and it's trying to send you your code, of course, that's not going to help. We get that all the time where people like left their phone in their car or at home. If you do that, there's a good chance we're not going to be able to get you into your email. So you'll want to make sure, because it's going to send you that text, so that way you can type the code in.
Why would you just check it from your phone?
Your email? Well, like in the case here, if people want to print stuff,
Oh.
we can't print directly from your phone,
Oh, okay.
and so they'd have to pull it up in their email. And so,
Okay.
and then, yes, some people just don't keep apps. Yeah, some people just don't keep apps on their phone too, I know sometimes. So, whatever the reason might be,
Gotcha.
Yeah. If you don't like receiving like text messages or stuff like that, you can have them call you. If you hit the call instead, it'll call you, you can answer it, and it'll usually just say like hit 1 if this is you. So if you're not wanting to have to type in a code, this is just a easier step um, to still get access to your email.
Yeah.
So when you sign up for an email, also there are the terms of like service and privacy that you have to read through. It can be pretty long, but you do have to agree to it. So even if you don't read it, you have to know you're agreeing to their terms. So it is smart to read through those. And then to log in, you'll have to go to gmail.com, or if you have the app, like the Gmail app on your phone, that'll work as well. And you'll click on the link that says Gmail there. So then we'll log in. So we'll use that email address that you created, whether it's your name or whatever username, and then at like gmail.com or whatever email you use. You'll put that in first, and then we'll click next. Then it's going to have you put in your password. So again, it's always important to make sure you remember your password, especially if you end up changing your password at any point. I know sometimes people will write them down and they'll have old passwords, but not their most current one. It's really important that you do have that password. Any case you forget your password, you can always do forgot password, and it'll try to have some steps that you'll go through to remember it. Like sometimes if you have set up like questions like what's your first pet's name or stuff like that, but it can be really difficult to get back into your email. So the most important thing is to always try to remember that password.
And also, like, if you do the forgot password, just know that most of the time it's going to take you through the steps to reset your password. And if you're logged into your email on your phone, you're going to have to update that password on your phone as well. So, like, if you update your password because you can't get logged in on a computer, you're going to need to update that password on your phone too. Otherwise, you're like, make sure you have it written down so that the next time you go to your email and it says, oh, we need you to authenticate your account, please enter your password. You need to make sure you know it, whatever you changed it to, because it's going to change it on any device you regularly use it on as well. It's not like, oh, I just logged in on this computer, so that's only the password for this computer. Nope, it's the password now from now on. So keep that in mind too if you change the password, that write the new one down.
So when you first log in, this is what it's going to look like here. So there is going to be a list of email messages in the middle screen. We can go back and look at that. So like right here in the middle of the screen, there are all the emails that are in this inbox. And then there's also the menu on the left side that allows you to switch between folders. So that's this menu bar right over here.
What's snoozed?
I think like if you, is that when you like schedule messages maybe?
I've not seen.
I'm
it.
not positive.
I'm assuming it has something to do with because you can like set up to have stuff sent at different times. And so my guess is maybe like if you were, if it was,
5:01, what
like,
if
it
I
was
left
meant
at
to
5?
yeah, if you like, because like sometimes I'll like write an email today that I need to have it go out tomorrow. So I'll schedule it to send right at 8 a.m. or something like that. So even though I've just walked through the door, the email's already sent. And so I don't know if maybe if you snooze it where you don't want it to send yet, maybe that's where it would go. Cassie will figure out
thanks.
this
Yeah, I've not
information.
seen it before, is why I asked.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one either. And then you can also look for specific messages using the search bar at top. That's just that search bar up there.
Oh, this is actually very interesting. So a snoozed email means an email that has been temporarily removed from your inbox and will return at a specific time. So like if you get an email and you think, oh, I can't deal with that now, but I don't want to forget about it, you can snooze it so that it shows back up maybe the next day at 4 p.m. when you're off work and you have time to look at it. You should probably
Fancy.
use that feature.
That's
So
nice.
how do you then get that into the sidebar then?
I think you should, my guess would be you can either click an email and drag it over there, or you can right click on an email and pick the option snoozed, and then it'll let you pick the features for when you want it to pop back up again.
So that snoozed wouldn't necessarily be in your, can you go back to that?
Yeah. Yeah, my guess is it probably won't show up until you've actually
Well,
snoozed
nope, I have snoozed in my email, so I think
Oh.
it's automatically there as an option. It just says nothing is snoozed.
Okay,
Interesting.
yeah, indeed.
That's a
I-
cool
I
feature.
I'm glad you pointed that out because I'd never paid attention to it.
We're learning new things today.
Yeah, I don't have it as a choice on mine.
Do you have Gmail?
Yes.
That is interesting.
It might be
I'll have to
some.
play at home and
Yeah.
see what I can.
And then also your account settings. So up here in the corner where it shows your first initial, if you click on that, that's how you can get to your account settings.
How would one go about changing that? Because that is set up under my husband's information.
You
Yeah,
should be able to click on it.
yeah, if you click on your name, I think there should be a thing that comes up because like that's where you would log in and out. And then I think it should also have just like a thing for your account settings. And then if you click into that,
Okay.
You're saying you like want to change your name and stuff in there?
Well, it comes up, my husband set up everything.
Mhm.
So whenever I log in, it will say like, hello, Rob, or something like that. So I'm attached, I assume, to his account. And I have to say, I'm afraid to change anything in the event that then I don't get something I'm supposed to through
Mhm.
people that don't know about
Yeah.
him or whatever. So yet another reason why I'm here, what I don't know.
yeah, exactly. And we can try to pull that up later on your phone too, or we can always, another resource that we have is like the Book a Librarian session. So you can always schedule with us and we can sit down with you and help out. And so we could always do it on your phone or pull up one of our computers and we can try to
Making
fix
a
that.
list of things to talk to my librarian about.
Perfect. So, when logging out of your email, we'll go to that same initial in the corner. You'll click that and then it'll allow you to log out. So there you go, sign out. And so I'm assuming right here where it says manage your Google account, I think that's what you would want to click to then.
You know, I have to say, I don't know that I ever truly sign out. I think I X out. Is that the same?
No,
So
like
it
on a personal device, you can always just stay logged in. I do on my computer just
Okay,
because
so
then you
that's
don't
not
have
a
to.
bad thing.
No,
Okay.
if it's like a personal device or something that you use, that's fine. But like if you're using a public computer here, you would want to make sure you log out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the next person that uses the computer could potentially access that
Got
if it
it,
doesn't get
okay.
logged out. So yeah, on public stuff, definitely always sign out. On your personal stuff, especially if you don't think anyone's going to have access to it, like our phones and our computers usually will have a password to get into the computer
Right.
itself,
Right,
so it's still protected.
okay.
I mean, if you have people coming into your house all the time and maybe have your computer unlocked all the time, if they're people you don't trust, you maybe want to sign out, but
Okay.
just because they can get access to that. But
I'm signed into mine on
Yeah,
my device
same.
all the time.
Okay.
I am
good,
as well.
good. I'm getting a little panicked for a
No.
second.
No,
no, like
But,
unless
and I don't use public stuff. It's
yeah,
more-
so that's the big
personal ones, you
You shouldn't
generally
be
don't
worried.
need to. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, unless you're giving people access to your personal stuff, you should be fine. So again, the inbox is where an email is received. So when you look at an email, there's going to be a few different parts here. So this first part's going to show you who the email is coming from. So their name. And then this next spot right here, that's going to be the subject line. So like when you send an email, it'll usually ask you to put a subject in. I know if you don't, usually if you hit send, it'll say like, do you want to send this without a subject? That subject is just a great way for people to know what the email is about. So like in this case, it says welcome new students. Just something easy when you're looking through your list of emails, especially if you have a ton, kind of see like what's it about? Is it important? Should I read it right now? Is it something I can look after later?
will it send if you don't put a topic?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can send it. It's just then that because you can kind of see like with this one here, it has who it's from, and then it just has like that mess. Or I guess maybe that's just a really long subject. But yeah, if it doesn't have a subject, it's just gonna show the first sentence in your email. So if it says like, hi Bob or whatever, that's what's going to show up. But so you don't need a subject, but it's generally like, especially if it's like a professional email or anything like that, you'd want to send that just so that way people know what your email is going to be about. And then the last little part here, that is the first part of the email. So let's say you just put like job or something as your subject, and people are like, I don't know what that is. But then maybe being able to see that first part of your email, you can kind of see what the email is going to be about. It's just an extra step to see whether or not this is something you want to open and read or something you want to ignore, especially when you have so many like junk mail or promotional stuff.
Yeah.
And then the last little bit here is going to let you know when you got it. So if it just shows the time like this one, that means you got it today and it's just letting you know the time you got it. Otherwise, if it's from a previous day, it's going to show the date. Generally, it's going to have it sorted where the newest ones are going to show up at the top and oldest ones are going to hide away. So just a way for you to see what is new and what is old. So helps you sort out through all the emails you get. So again, this little menu over here, this is where your inbox is started. And then also starred emails are going to be ones that like if it's really important, you can always click on this star here. And so that way it'll hold them all together. So like let's say it's an email you need to get back to later, or if it maybe has like your login information for like your gas bill or something like that. Something that you're going to want to keep and you want it in a place that's easy to access. If you star it, it's going to show it up right there and it's going to make it easy to get to. And then
Is that the same as flag? You put a flag on it?
I think a flag, like I don't think that is an actual
It
folder. I think it just
Yeah.
like makes it so over here you can see that you have flagged it. So like that would keep it, I think flagging it would keep it still in your inbox or wherever you move it. Where
kind of flagging
started
is
the-
generally like a priority thing. Like if I get these emails, I want them flagged because they're important or something like that. But if it's something that you want to come back to, starring it is definitely the best way to go. Like I'll just give the example. It's the same in Google Drive as it is in Gmail, that if you flag something, you can, if you star something, you can click on starred and see everything that's there. In the summertime, when I do story time, I always want my story time document easy for me to access on my phone because I have to pull it up on there. So I click on that starred folder and it shows me everything that I've starred, and then it's easier for me to open those things up.
Yeah, so the starred is a specific folder that's going to hold everything. The flagged, it's just going to show it on the email itself, but it's not going to sort it anywhere special. So again, if it's just lost in your email, flagging it's not going to really help you because you're still going to have to scroll through that whole list.
Look, I don't remember seeing starred or snoozed on my,
Oh,
and it doesn't show me on my phone, so I don't know.
we'll have to take a look sometime.
Yeah.
It's also going to show you anything you've sent or any drafts. So if you've started a message and haven't sent it yet, that's where you'll find it in your drafts. If you were to click more, you can then make folders. So like if you wanted to have a folder for work emails or a folder for like if you're getting emails about like your car or whatever you might want to have different folders for, you can create those to help kind of organize all your emails.
We traditionally do that a lot for specific vacations when we have booking information or tickets for tours and things like that. We generally create a folder, and then all of the emails that we get for things related to that trip, we put them in that folder so that when we're on the trip, it's easy to find, like, oh, well, we don't see your reservation. Well, I can pull up that email or something like that. It just makes it easier. Or if you have like concert tickets, a lot of times concert tickets are now on your phone. So when those get sent to you, you can have a folder that's just for you to put concert tickets into so you can easily locate those. And you're not scrolling through your email trying to find them.
And when you're all done with that, deleting it.
Yep, you can
will
delete it,
obviously
yep.
edits.
Yeah, and the nice thing about if you put everything in a folder when you're done with that vacation, if you want to just delete the folder, you can. If you don't want to delete it because you think, well, I'm probably going to go back there in a few years or something like that, it'd be nice to remember some of the things that I did. You can just look back at those emails again. Oh, yeah, that was the company I booked that tour through, or those sorts of things. So if you want to keep it, it's there in that folder. If you think, well, I don't need any of that stuff, we're not going back there again, you can delete the whole thing. Everything's taken care of. So.
And luckily with emails, unless you're attaching a ton of videos or pictures, emails aren't going to take up a whole lot of space. So it's not like you'll run out of storage space from keeping emails. It'll just make it potentially harder to sort through everything if you have a whole bunch, but it's not going to count against you or anything. So again, we've got the search bar up here. So this is really nice. So you know you got an email from Robin, but you can't find it anywhere in your email. You can always type their name up here or their email address and it'll pop up. Or if you know someone emailed me about a pizza. I don't remember who emailed me, but I know it was about a pizza. If you type pizza up there, any emails that have pizza in it are gonna pop up. So it's just an easier way to kind of sort through messages that you've had.
I also use that feature a lot when I'm cleaning out my email. Like, I don't need any of these emails from Amazon. So I'm going to search Amazon and then I'm going to select them all and delete them.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm so overwhelmed by how many are there and I don't want to go through each
Yeah.
individual one.
And if there are certain stores that I'm getting emails from, I search for that store. I go into one of the emails, I unsubscribe, and then I go back to my list and delete them all. So it's really the search feature. That's the number one thing I use it for, is for cleaning out my email.
This has been very helpful. I'm not gonna learn much today. I know a lot, but man, that's
We've got tips for you.
Yeah. Well, I always learn something from you ladies, so.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
No, you were good. I think we're just clicking through. There we go. So, when you want to reply to an email, so you'd open up your email, and then there's two different places you can click. So first down here where it says reply, if you click on that, it's going to start a new message responding to that. Otherwise, there is also this tiny little arrow right there. That is another way you can also reply. So they both have that same arrow. They'll both do the same thing. Click on that to reply. So once you've clicked reply, it's going to let you write your message in there. In this case, since you're not starting a new email, you won't need to put a subject in because the person who originally emailed you already has that subject, so it's going to stay the same. But you can type anything in there in the body, or if you want to attach, if you need to attach a document or a picture, you can do that down below as well. And then you would just be able to hit send. Once you've sent your email, you'll be able to see it here. So it's going to keep everything in that trail together. So the original email, the email you sent, and then if they send a response, it's all going to show up in that same area. So that way you can see the whole conversation there.
Why is it like on my home computer in that format, they're chronological, or I guess whatever opposite way. But on my phone, it's like I have to, when I click on the message, I can't always find like what the first message was to make reference to what the conversation was.
I think sometimes it does hide it just to save space. I think there's usually a spot like you can click
It's usually
to like
3 dots.
Okay.
Yeah, and it'll sort of open it up because yeah, it's trying to make it so you don't have so much stuff to scroll through, especially on such a small screen.
Okay.
It is there, but yeah, you usually have to open it up. Kind of annoying, an extra step, but just kind of to make it not as cluttered on your phone.
Okay. I'll have to practice. Oh, the 3 dots. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so frustrating because then I can't find it in a timely manner.
Yeah, and
You're scrolling and-
everywhere. Yep. So if you just want to write an email to someone, you're not responding to one, we'll click the compose button up there. So then you can put in whoever you're wanting to send your message to, and that can be more than one person. If you have like 10 people you want to send it to, just put in each of their email addresses and separate them by commas, and that will attach everyone. So it'll go to all those people at the same time, which is really nice, especially so that way you're not going to send out 10 separate emails. And so when you're writing an email, again, make sure to include that email address and make sure it's correct. If you don't have the correct email address or you don't put in an email address, of course, it's not going to get to who it needs to get to. Provide that subject and that subject line. That just helps them know what it's going to be about. Maybe it'll make them open it quicker, especially if they know that they're supposed to be getting something from you. And then type your message in the body of the email. Once you have all those things, you can always just send your message on. Once you hit send, It's going to pop up down here letting you know that the message was sent. There is an undo button. I think you have like about 15 seconds
Yeah.
maybe to click that undo button if you realize like, oh, I forgot to attach this or something like that. You can quickly click undo and it will stop sending it. But again, you have to do that very quickly. Otherwise, once it's actually sent, it's gone, so you can't update it. And then there's also the button to view the message. So if you just want to double check and look through what you sent, you can click that and then it'll show you the message you just sent. If that message has disappeared and you still want to go back and find the message you sent, again, we'll just go to that sent folder and anything that you've sent to anyone is going to show up in there. All right, so what about junk mail? What kind of junk mail have you guys received? Sure, tons and tons.
Yeah, yeah. Just take a look. I just sort of ignore them,
Yeah.
like hotel
Yeah,
things.
and I think nowadays, like if you
Don't
sign up for
activate.
email for like the email service, like let's say you're shopping at Maurice's and you want to get their emails, I know some of those places will like sell your email addresses, so then all of a sudden you'll start getting emails from other places too, which is always annoying. But yes, there's always lots of junk. Um, so what is junk mail or spam mail? It's unwanted communication online. So you can see like in the spam one, they have stuff from Cash App, but you can tell it's not real, or just all sorts of different things, usually wanting you to open their links or send them money or get your password information. It's just stuff that you don't want to have to deal with. So there is that spam folder in Gmail. A lot of times emails will automatically get flagged as spam if they are, and it'll send them there. If like especially with Gmail, if a lot of people are getting an email from that same person and putting it to spam, it'll recognize, oh, that's not a good email, and it'll just automatically start sending anything they send you to spam. So it's really good at recognizing it, but of course, not everything is going to automatically go to your spam. Sometimes stuff is going to still pop up in your inbox. And also vice versa. You might have a friend send you an email. If you don't see it, it's good to check your spam. Sometimes stuff ends up going there incorrectly. So,
The other thing too is that like with spam, let's say you keep getting emails from the same store, but you never open them and you delete them regularly, that sort of thing, but you've never opened them. A lot of times Gmail will start recognizing that as spam when you get new ones. It takes a while, but if you open them, it won't recognize it as spam. It'll keep it in whatever folder that it's coming in. But I've noticed that like, oh, I never open the emails from this hotel chain or whatever. Oh, those emails are all going to my spam now. So it tries to recognize that on its own too. Like, well, this person isn't opening any of these emails. And so it just automatically shifts them over. So sometimes, I mean, oh, I am going to stay in that hotel that I don't normally stay in or whatever. I can't find the email from them. It went to my spam because that's where all of the emails from that place have been going.
so yeah, it's pretty smart, but you'll still probably have to tinker with it a bit because it's not always going to catch everything. Um, so to send an email to spam, so like let's say in your inbox you see one, if you select that specific email, there is this exclamation point, looks like it's kind of in a stop sign, that is going to send it to spam. So if you mark that as spam, it's automatically going to send it there. And then anything that you get sent from that person's email will automatically go to spam from now on. So like if it is like Pizza Hut emails, you're like, I don't want to see this anymore. Once you throw one in there, they're all going to start going in there. So if you find an email in your spam folder that you want to keep, so like let's say that one's not supposed to go to spam, you can alert email that the message isn't spam. You can open it up and it'll usually have a message at the top saying this isn't spam and click that, or you can always just drag it and put it back into your inbox. But that way it'll know from now on, don't send this person's email to spam. Like that's someone I actually do want to talk to. But
Sometimes I will like text myself something and then I will forward that to email because I want to copy and paste to
yeah,
print something
yeah.
at home. but for whatever reason, I'd say 50% of the time, my phone isn't communicating properly, because I will say every time, do not block, because it's me. I know that it's me, but yet it will block me anyway. So I don't understand why, even when I say not spam, and I physically move it over, do
Yeah.
not block. I do everything that I think is right, but I don't understand why it keeps doing that.
Yeah, that's strange because it shouldn't. It should
Yeah.
learn, but yeah, I'm not sure.
So then I always go to spam and go, okay,
Yeah.
move it to inbox.
We get that here a lot where people will like email us their stuff to print, and I'd say about 50% of the time at least, it always just shows up in our spam. So we're always having to check in there for whatever reason.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No, no. It's why it's always good to double check your spam because both spam and trash, usually stuff will sit in there for about 30 days, and then it'll automatically delete. So if someone did send you something 29 days ago and you just never checked your spam mail, tomorrow it'll go away forever. So, I mean, it's just good to regularly check in there, just to make sure you haven't missed anything important, but generally it should hopefully do a pretty good job of doing that. Yeah, so you'll see here, like when you open the email, you can say report not spam. So then it should start putting those in your inbox instead of sending those to spam. Organizing and deleting emails. So removing old emails can help clean up your inbox, make it easier to find emails. So if you're wanting to delete emails, we have this delete button up here. Otherwise, there's also over here, this like little folder with an arrow. If you click on that, that will let you put things into folders. So archive. This is a way to basically remove it from your inbox so it's not showing up like in the first stuff you see, but not deleting it either. It's like it's stuff you want to go back to later. So if you're not wanting to put it in any specific folder, but you also just don't want it to show up in your email, you can hit archive. So it won't be in your inbox, but it still exists. So again, like with that snooze feature, it's kind of like I don't want to deal with this right now. I'll go back to it later. But then you'll have to make sure you check your archive, otherwise it'll just sit there forever. And then again, deleting messages. So again, they usually stay in there for about 30 days. So if you accidentally delete something, it's not gone forever. You can still access it, but you'll have 30 days before it will permanently delete, and then it will be gone forever. So, and then labels. So that's used to organize and find emails of a similar topic. So, if you have like again work emails or different emails that are all in the same subject, you can apply that topic to it. So that way, because like especially if you're to search like let's say you did tag it as work. If you search work, anything that's tagged work is going to show up. And then folders, that's a separate folder over here where you'd place it in. So like the difference between tags and folders. So like again, if you move the email into that folder, it's no longer in your inbox, it's in that folder. The tag, it'll still be in your inbox. It'll just have that tag on it. So that way you know that email is like a work email or something like that. So it's just a different way. So if you're wanting, again, to get things out of your inbox, if you have like 500 things in your email and you're like, I need to sort these out, you can move them into those separate folders. But if you want to keep it in your inbox, like especially if it's something you need to find right away later, tagging it can help you know what that email is about without having to move it somewhere else. So removing emails and cleaning out your inbox can make it easier to find emails. Again, depending on how many emails you're getting in, I know by the time I actually go through my email, sometimes there's thousands of them in there, and that can be a lot. So it's good to go through and clean it out regularly, or at least kind of organize it so it's easy to find, especially if you have those important emails. But otherwise, you do always have that search function, but still doesn't make it the easiest to find everything. So when you click the trash icon, a message down here is going to pop up saying that it moved it to trash. There is that undo button, so if you quickly realize, oh, I didn't mean to delete that, click that undo button, and that'll bring it back. Otherwise, you can again always go to your trash folder and then move it back out of your trash. Again, you don't have to be too worried. You got the 30 days before it will be gone forever. So if you click more, it's gonna show a list of all the folders, including trash. So if you along here, so all the messages that are in trash can still be opened or replied to. Like you can still use those emails, but they won't stay in there forever. They will permanently delete. Like emails in spam, you will not be able to respond to those emails because they are spam. You'd have to move them from the spam folder to your inbox, because it wants to make sure you're not replying to something you shouldn't be, something that could hurt you or anything like that. So, but with trash, you still can respond to those emails and everything, but again, it will delete after 30 days. So if it is important, make sure
If you try to reply or to do something when it's in those, what does it do?
in spam.
Nothing? Yeah.
I don't think it'll let you. Like, I don't think you have the option. It'll say like, because like it has that thing like, is this not spam? And so then you can move it to the inbox. But yeah, you won't even have an option to reply when it's in your spam. It just wants to make sure you're not accidentally emailing someone you shouldn't be and potentially getting like malware or anything on your computer. If you need to find a specific email and you don't want to look through your folders, again, we can use that search function. So no matter how old it is, it'll search through all your emails. So it'll also search through like spam and trash. So like, let's say, you're supposed to get an email from Marie today. If you type it in, it'll show, oh, there's an email in spam. That can help. Or if maybe you accidentally deleted it earlier, it'll show up that it's in your trash. So it's going to pull every folder, not just your inbox. It'll search any email that you have in there.
That could be pretty long.
It
It
could
could
be.
be.
And if you know, like, let's say you know that the email that you're looking for is really old because it's your login information for your electric bill online or something like that, which you set up at the same time as your email. There is, after you search, there's a button in between the search bar and the emails that will allow you to reverse the order that they're showing up because they show up newest to oldest, but there's a button that you can hit to search it oldest to newest. So if you know that it's something that's way back in your inbox, searching the older stuff first is probably going to help you find it faster.
So when you're searching, again, you can search for the person's name if you know who sent it, words in the subject line, or words in the message. So again, if you know they said pizza, type pizza, any email that has that either in the subject or in the body of the text, it's going to be able to pull that up. So when you're looking for a particular email, you'll type the word up there. So in this case, you can see they typed in field trip, and so you can see an email popped up that's called upcoming field trip. So then you know, oh, that hopefully is the one you're looking for. So once you click enter and it's showing you everything that has words with that search term, you can see here where field trip is there, it's highlighted here, it's highlighted there. So it's going to kind of show you the text that has that keyword in it. So you can kind of see like, is this the one specifically that I'm looking for? Because like in this case, it's searching for both the words field and trip separately. So like you can see here, this part is just trip. So like let's say you have a bunch of emails about a trip and the word trip shows up a bunch of times. You might have to scroll through quite a few until you find one that's actually field trip. So the more specific you can be with your search, the quicker you'll hopefully be to find those emails. So if you haven't been able to find what you're looking for, let's say you have a huge list of emails that still pop up, you can narrow down your search. So this button right here at the end of your search bar, if you click on that, this advanced search is going to pop up. So then you could search, like let's say you know it's from Bob and has the word field trip in it. You can put both of those in there, and so then it's only going to show you video or show you emails from that specific person and with those specific search terms. You can also so like date within, oh, go back. So you can put, like if you knew it was in the past week, you can put specific dates that, so it helps narrow down. If you know it has an attachment, like you know they sent you a PDF and that's what you need, you can click that. So it's just different ways that you can really narrow down your search even more to help you not have maybe 500 emails that you're having to go through. So it's just a helpful thing. If even scrolling through you still can't find it, try to narrow it down just a little bit more. All right, did I skip something? No, okay. So some tips and tricks. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but a draft is a saved email that you have not completed. So if you start typing an email and then you go off and do something else, it's going to save it in your drafts. So it hasn't gone away. You can still edit it and then send it later, but it has not sent. So sometimes people will be like, oh, I sent you an email and you can't find it. It might just be sitting in their drafts. They might have written it and just haven't hit sent. That happens all the time. So even if you said you sent someone an email and they say they haven't got it, maybe check your drafts. Maybe you just didn't hit that send. But you can still update it if you like start typing it and you're like, oh, I need to attach this document to it later. I don't have it right now. You can always attach it later and then send it on over.
And it will automatically save, like Gmail automatically saves any new email that you create, regardless of whether or not you type anything into it. So if you type new email and then you think, oh, I don't remember what I was going to send, and you just close the window or whatever, and then you come back later, there's going to be a blank email in your drafts. And every once in a while, I go to my drafts and I'm like, oh, yep, there's 6 blank emails I need to delete. So I just delete them out and get rid of them. But if you look at your drafts and you think, why do I have 20 drafts? That could be why, because it will save every single, if you hit new email, it's going to automatically save that in drafts. Even if you don't type an address in there or anything, no subject, no text, it will still save it.
Okay. It's kind of a nice feature, so that way you don't lose whatever you've done, but
Yeah.
it also
Let's
can.
say your battery runs out when you're in the middle of typing an email. It's still going to be saved there for you when you get your phone charged back up.
All right, also attachments. So these are files that are included as a part of the email. So like down below, you can see if those are attached. So that could be, again, pretty much anything. If you're wanting to attach a picture or a Word document or a video, anything that you're wanting to send this person other than just your initial text, those are going to be attachments. Reply. This email only goes to the person who sent the email. So usually, like let's say she sent an email to all 10 of her students. So those are all going to show up. There'll usually be a button for reply all or reply. If you hit reply all, that email is going to all 10 of those people. So you'll want to be careful about whether or not that's information you want to send to everyone. Like sometimes, like especially at work, if we're having a email between all of us, sometimes we want reply all so everyone's getting the same information. But let's say you just want to say something to that singular person, you want to make sure you just hit reply, not reply all. So it only goes to the person who sent that
It's
message.
like if it asked for volunteers to bring snacks, that's not a terrible thing to reply all, because then everybody knows, oh, somebody did sign up to bring snacks. But if you just want to let the teacher know that your kid won't be there that day, you don't want to send that to everybody. So then you just want to reply. And reply all has 2 little arrows and reply has 1. So if you see the 2 little arrows up in the spot where you usually hit the button to reply, that's because it's going to reply all. And so you can change that as well. Like you can switch it to just reply, but paying attention to that so you know who you're sending stuff to.
Again, yep, reply all, that's going to do everyone that's received the message. So again, just if you have information that you maybe don't want everyone to know, being cautious of that before sending your message will always help you out. Forwarding, that is sending an existing email to someone else. So like you said, you'll email yourself something and then maybe forward it over. Or like let's say you got an email with your concert ticket and it's your concert ticket and your husband's concert ticket, you can forward that message on to him so that way he also has access to it. Just sending whatever you already have in your inbox to someone else as well.
And let's say you want to reply to an email, like you want to reply to something somebody said, but you want the attachment to still be there, then you want to forward instead of reply. If you just reply, it's not going to send them the attachment again, because let's say they sent it to you. But so sometimes if you want to, if you're trying to send that exact thing back to somebody, or maybe it's three people that are going to the concert, and so you want to forward it to your husband, but you also want to forward it to another friend instead of like replying and saying, "Hey, I've got the concert tickets." You want to forward and say, "Here are the concert tickets," so everybody has access to it.
So when you're sending message, there's CC, which you'll see right below here. So let's say, like in this instance, I am sending this to my husband because these are his concert tickets. But let's say like your kid's also coming with, but his tickets are separate, but you just want him to know that you have the concert tickets also. So then you could add him also. So he's still going to be getting the email, but he's not the main person. So like two is like the important person. This is the person who you're wanting to send the email to, and then the CC is someone else that's included in the email, but it's not the main one.
It's kind of like FYI, for your information,
Because then
I'm sending this
also,
email to whoever.
when they hit like reply, it's gonna just come to those main people, not everyone. Like if you do a reply all, it'll go to both. So it's just a easier way to kind of show this is important for this person. This is just information for them if they need it or want it. So like usually here we have our director and we have our assistant director. When I email my director, sometimes I'll also CC the assistant director, like especially if maybe Dana's out of office today or something. So at least it's getting somewhere. You can see it's been sent on. Just kind of anyone who might need to know that information. Then we have BBC or BCC. So it's a blind carbon copy. So let's say you want to send an email to 10 people, but you don't want those 10 people to have each other's email. So like in our case, like we do teen subscription bags. And so we'll email them saying, "Hey, your bag is ready to be picked up." But I don't want them to be able to see, "Oh, so and so also gets this." So like I don't want them to see everyone who's also getting a teen subscription bag just for privacy reasons. If you put their emails in blind CC, they're not going to see who else this email is going to. They're just going to see that they got an email from you and that's it. They're not seeing that 20 other people also got that email.
The sender gets to see though.
Yes, the sender,
Yeah.
like you will be able to see who you sent it to, but
And if that person replies all, it won't go to all of the people that you sent the initial email to. Anybody who's in BCC will not get a reply all response because they can't see who those people are. It's really mainly used for privacy stuff, and it's funny because I didn't know a lot about it until my husband, who is an IT guy, once said, "I can't believe this person sent this email this way." You know, anytime you're sending something where you want to protect the identity of other people who are in that email, BCC is a good way to go. Um, just so like you're sending it to a lot of people, but they can't see all those email addresses. You're keeping those email addresses private, but you're still sending the email to 20 people all at once.
so like with those places where you sign up for an email, like let's say you sign up to get Dairy Queen alerts, they're not sending each person an individual email. They're sending it to however many hundreds of thousands of people they have in their list. But of course, they don't want you to be able to see everyone who signed up to their email because that's an invasion of privacy. So they're gonna BBC it or VCC it so that way you can see that you got an email from them and they're sending an email to a bunch of people, but you're not seeing who's all getting that email. It's just kind of a privacy thing there, so that way you're not giving other people's emails out to other people that may not want them. So the CC field lets a recipient know that it's a courtesy copy for their records, but they often don't need to take any action or reply to it. So it's just something for them to have. And then again, the BCC keeps that email address private. You can use multiple email addresses in all three of those fields. So if you're wanting to send it to 2 people, and then you're wanting to CC it to two people and BCC it to two people, you can. You can do as many people in each of those fields as you can. So just
Okay.
depending on how many people you're needing to send those messages to. Right, do an activity here. So what would you click on here to add an attachment? It might be small for you guys.
Different than mine, so I don't know.
So right down here on this bottom line, there's going to be a little
Oh, the
paper clip.
Paperclip, okay.
So yep, that's where you would click to add an attachment. There's also this like kind of triangle thing. It's the the Google Drive symbol. So like if you're trying to upload something specifically from Google Drive, you'd click that. And then there's also a little picture if you're wanting to upload just like a photo. That's where you click. So just along that little taskbar, those are the places you would go to it, click and add an attachment. So if you want to reply to everyone who received the message, which option do you choose? Reply, reply all, or forward?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll want to do reply all. You want it to go to everyone. If you BCC your mother in an email, will your friends see her email address when they receive the email? Nope, they will not. And if you want to finish an email that you started yesterday, but you didn't send it, where would you find it?
List maybe, or?
Nope, not.
No.
Yes, okay.
You started
Started
typing
typing.
Oh,
it.
drafts.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. So it'll go to your drafts, and so you can find it in there. So after reading this email, you decide to delete it. Which icon should you click to delete the message?
Oh,
Right there.
okay.
So yeah, you'll click on that little trash can. That's gonna delete it out of your messages. All right, so you can see an email from a sender you don't recognize. It seems too good to be true. What should you do with the message? Open it and get more information. Don't open it, mark it as spam. Open the message and the attachments and receive your reward.
Number 2.
Yep,
Yeah.
we don't want to open it. We want to mark it as spam. Nowadays, it's generally not dangerous to just open a message that you're unsure of just to see what's in there. It used to be that you didn't want to open the messages at all. Now you're usually pretty protected. The big thing, you don't want to click on anything they sent you. So if they sent you a link, if they sent you an attachment, you don't want to click on those because that's how they could potentially download viruses to your computer or get access to your accounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you
And-
never want to open that stuff.
And generally, like you're not going to get a virus from just opening an email, but do know that by opening the email, they, in a lot of cases, can see that somebody opened that email and then will continue to send spam to that email address because they know that somebody opened it.
They know that that account is active.
Yeah, then they know that account is active and they think, oh, well, we'll keep sending.
Usually
So
the
that's
best-
why the second option is the best option, to not open it and mark it as spam. If you do open it, like I said, you're not likely going to get a virus or anything like that, but the place that sent it to you probably knows that you opened it. They can check reports and things like that and see that they sent out 5,000 emails and these are the 10 people that opened it. So those are active email accounts. We want to keep sending them stuff.
because maybe eventually they'll click on one of
Yeah.
our links or something. So just good to not open it, just mark it as spam and be done with it. All right, so that's everything we're going to discuss today. Talked a little bit about the tools needed to use an email, some of those basic functions, and then some tips and tricks. Again, we had mentioned it earlier. If you have more questions and want to sit down with one of us, always book a librarian. Just give us a call and we can schedule some time to sit with you, especially on like your personal device, and we can help you through some stuff. Generally around the lunchtime, anywhere between 11 and 1. We're not always going to be available just because we have less staff. People are out at lunch. But otherwise, just give us a call or stop in and we can always do our best to help you with any additional questions you have.
Yeah.
But
It also really helps. Like we've had some few people in lately that just kind of brought a list of stuff that they needed help with. And then whoever was helping them kind of worked their way through the list as much as they could. Those book a librarian appointments are like 15 to 30 minutes. So try to keep that in mind. And then if you need to book another one, you always can. But having a list of stuff that you need help with helps us a lot. Just bringing a device and saying, I need help with this, that doesn't help us much. Do you want to email? Do you want to send pictures? Do you want to be able to log into Facebook? Is there an app that you want that you don't have? Telling us those things helps us out a lot. And then we can help you work through those things much more efficiently, and help you with any questions you might have. But having a list of things you need help with, always a great idea if you're going to book a librarian.
otherwise, today, do you guys have any other specific questions?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys go. But yeah, always think of us if you have more questions. We probably won't have another technology class until the fall with summer reading. It's going to be a bit crazy, but we are hoping to do some more
Yeah.
technology classes once the fall starts. And
Yeah.
the craziness has.
And we did find some better stuff for Excel and Word because we know that those are classes that people want. So we found some stuff. And that's something that we can also share with you if you want to look at it on your own too. So.
Okay. Cool.
Wish I knew about 1/25th of what you guys.